Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We cover the dub here at Sports Ethos. This is the Sports Ethos WNBA today with your boy, Rick Kamla. The playoffs are rolling. Such an exciting time of year, right? To be a W fan, to be a basketball fan. I saw Nets Media Day just happened. The full Media Day deal for the NBA is coming up next week. So very exciting time. Footballs are flying through the air. Sneakers are squeaking. Dun, 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 dun. Balls are bouncing in gyms. Okay. It's an exciting time. We're in September. We're about to hit October. October is the best sports month of the year by far. You got the baseball playoffs, hockey's going, baseball going, football going. It's the best month of the year. And here we are. So right now it's Tuesday. Tonight we have more games. And we're going to talk about game one. We're going to talk about the awards, and we're going to have a good time. So what we do here, if you're just joining us, welcome. It's we do my top three and my bottom three from the previous week in the WNBA. So we start at the top. Number one, the Indiana Fever just pulled off one of the biggest upsets in WNBA playoff history. This is fact, okay? I'll explain that in just a second. A'ja Wilson gets her MVP award, her fourth, okay? And I have a lot to say about that. She gets her fourth MVP award. We have seen in the NBA, and it used to be kind of this deal where you've got a game, they make a big deal out of it in front of the crowd and everything, and it kind of takes the steam out of the players sometimes, right? And sometimes it's like ring night. Sometimes ring night just the dudes, the ladies, they're just not ready to really crank it up and get back, and a lot of times they are. Okay, this was one of those examples, I thought, where Vegas kind of just strolled into the game. They just kind of cruised into the game, right? At normal pace or maybe sub pace from what they usually do. So she gets her fourth MVP award. And then, the Indiana Fever kind of cranked them, okay? And so fans are literally leaving the arena in Las Vegas before the game is even over on MVP day for A'ja Wilson. Kind of crazy, right? But that's what went down. The number 6 seed, Indiana Fever, took down the number 2 seed, 89-73. In their best of 5, handing the two-time champs who are looking this year for the dynasty their second loss in the past 20 games. Remember, they won 17 in a row, lost to Seattle, then won game 3, barely, and lost here. Okay, so they've now lost 2 of their last 3 games. Here's the upset history. Indiana closed as an 8.5-point underdog at ESPN Bet. And ESPN writes, Sunday's outcome tied for the largest playoff spread upset in WNBA semifinals or later or finals since 2017. Kind of a weird stat, but anyway, it's one of the best upsets that we've seen recently. And if it's one of the best recently, then it probably stacks up historically as well. The Aces had a 16-point deficit on Sunday, their largest in any game since their 53-point beatdown to the Minnesota Lynx back on August 2nd, which created a sort of come-to-Jesus moment for the team in which they rallied significantly and won 17 games in a row and won A'ja her fourth MVP. If they don't win 17 games in a row, she does not win this MVP award. That's my personal opinion. The voters may have something different to say, but I really think that was like, she grabbed everybody by the shirt collar. Are you voting for me? It was like that. People, yeah, I'm voting for you, A'ja. Okay, and she won again. The Fever were led by Kelsey Mitchell. Okay, she was phenomenal. 34 points, the most in a WNBA semifinals debut in league history and second most in a playoff game in Fever history. And her 104 points in 4 playoff games so far is the most in a 4-game span in franchise playoff history. Kelsey Mitchell's balling, okay? She said, Becky Hammond said after the game, clearly we had no answer for Mitchell. She made every freaking shot. It seemed like she had a hot night, and we let her get going. Well, there's been a lot of that this year for sure from Kelsey Mitchell. And I loved Stephanie White's she had the huddle in between the first and second quarter, and then she talked with the announcers. And I loved what she said. Becky Hammond said, or Stephanie White is a badass too, for sure. So she was just like, she was mad. And she's like, our defensive effort and all this kind of stuff. And immediately they just started cranking up the defense, dude. It was very, very impressive. So in terms of Kelsey Mitchell here and Indiana, Odyssey Sims had 17. Natasha Howard had 12 points and 11 rebounds. Indiana shot 50% from the floor against Vegas. In Vegas, Vegas shot 41%. And Becky Hammond said they played with a greater sense of urgency. We couldn't catch up with their pace. Pace was a huge issue in this game. Jackie Young said, we really didn't have a pep to us, like the pace that they were playing at, the pep they had in their step. We just didn't have that today. It's on us to change that next game. It's such a great quote by Jackie Young. Indiana was flying around. I mean, they've kind of been in death game mode for a while here, right? End of the regular season. You got out of that 8 bubble and, you got up to, 6, but they were playing just playing it out all the way to the end for seeding and that's all important games for a long, long time. And it's been all hands on deck scenario without Caitlin Clark and without 4 other players that were lost due to season-ending injuries. That just kind of cranks up your mentality. I mean, damn, all these people I got to do more. I can't have a normal day. I've got to be a freaking badass every day. And they're vibing on that. So they were just doggy defenders in game 1. And I'll get to what Aaliyah Boston did to Asia Wilson in game 1. But I just love the hustle, the energy, the urgency, the belief, the confidence. Indiana, dude, think about it. This is the Las Vegas Aces, man. You got the best player in the world, second best coach in the league, Becky Hammond behind Cheryl Reeve. You're in Vegas. They're rolling. You don't have Caitlin. You don't have all these it just looked like a mismatch, honestly. And Indiana went out there and they were like, and they won the game. I don't know if they're going to win another game in this series, but they won game 1, and they might win another game in this series. The Fever are peaking at a perfect time. Remember I mentioned the urgency, all the big games. They've won 3 straight playoff games, including 2 while facing elimination in the first round. They've won 6 of their last 7 games, okay? And so they're rolling right now. No Sophie, no Caitlin, so far no problem. And honestly, I really didn't detect a lot of times in WNBA or NBA, part of my analysis will be they're just 1 dude short. They're 2 dudes short. It's a math problem, right? If the Brooklyn Nets played the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, and it's pretty obvious. It's a bad example. You have the champs, you have a horrible team, but it's a math problem. The Nets don't have the dudes that are going to put on the scoreboard what the OKC dudes are. It's just that simple. I did not get that feeling watching the Fever against the Aces on Sunday. I didn't get the feeling. I'm not saying they're not missing. Of course they're missing Caitlin Clark, but I don't feel like they're down a man or down a woman. And so it's this big math problem. I just didn't feel that. Maybe I'll feel that in game 2. I'll get to my game 2 prediction here in a moment. Aaliyah Boston wasn't great offensively. Now, remember, I mentioned some other ladies a minute ago kind of talking about that. However, she held Asia Wilson down. According to ESPN, Wilson shot 2 of 11 against Aaliyah Boston, Wilson's worst field goal percentage against a defender in a playoff game over the past 5 seasons. Aaliyah Boston, I don't know if you get the game ball. I think Kelsey Mitchell's kind of sort of got to get the game ball here. But your defense on Asia Wilson definitely deserves a golf clap. All right, game 2 will be tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 tonight. This is the Sports Ethos WNBA Today with your boy, Rick Kamla. Stoked to watch the WNBA tonight. And ESPN does a good thing here. Get out of the way of Monday Night Football. Extraordinary game last night between Detroit and Baltimore. A possible Super Bowl preview. The whole world's watching that. I love the WNBA, and I'm rating. If you try, and by the way, it's ESPN who does Monday Night Football, so the point is moot. But don't go up against that, right? Play your games on Sunday. Hopefully you got great ratings. Off Monday, back at it on Tuesday. That's how to do it, baby. That's how to do it. All right, Vegas is going to blow out Indiana tonight. I know what I said about they're not down a man or a woman or whatever. When I say that, it's like, don't get hung up in the gender, right? It's just, It's a man game. It's a human game. I don't damn know. Just go with my flow here. What Jackie Young said, what Becky Hammond said, what they all said, they got to pick up the pace. They were a little bit too cool in game one. They're not saying that. I am, okay? But they got to get, I want you to envision Joakim Noah back in his Defensive Player of the Year days with the Chicago Bulls. He played with the mean face. You can call it the ugly face, whatever you want. I'm not calling him ugly. I'm just saying where you're not out there too cool. You're out there sweating, grinding, spit maybe coming out of your mouth. Okay, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is winning this game. Doesn't matter how you look. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter what the crowd's feeling and thinking. All that matters is you leave that floor with more points on the scoreboard than they have. And they're going to plug into that. And I think they're going to crank Indiana. How many times do we see game one, weird upset? And especially like for Indiana to win would have been like, all right, that's a big upset. They blew them out. Okay, that was crazy. Vegas is going to respond. There's championship DNA on this team, multiplied. Okay, even Jewel Lloyd brings chips over from Seattle, right? They got all kinds of championship DNA. We are going to see that tonight. They're going to crank Indiana. And you know that mentality sets in, human nature. Well, we came here to get one. Well, you got your one. A lot of teams kind of throttle down a little bit. And then the other team that got spanked throttles up. And then you get a mismatch in game two. I think that's what's going to happen. The MVP is going to roar. Aaliyah Boston, love you. Asia's going to be a problem tonight. The others are going to be great. The pace is going to be up. The urgency has now been reset, and Vegas is going to win and tie this series. Number two, in my big three from the previous week in the WNBA, my Lynx crank up the defense and win game one against the Phoenix Mercury. All right, so 82-69, they get this done. 47 first half points for the Phoenix Mercury. And so Minnesota had a big conversation at halftime to kind of recalibrate and refocus. Vegas probably should have had that conversation. Sorry, I got to sneeze here. Pardon me 1 second. It was not a sneeze. It was just weirdness. Sorry, I'm a human. Stuff happens. So Alyssa Thomas had 16 points in the first half. Second most points in a playoff half in her career. And she either scored or assisted on 23 of the Mercury's 47 first half points. She had 2 points in the second half. AT had 2 points in the second half. The Lynx double-teamed Thomas on 7 touches in the second half. She was 0 for 1 with a turnover. The Mercury didn't score on those touches where Thomas was double-teamed, according to ESPN. So Cheryl Reeve found something, and she's going to continue to double-team Alyssa Thomas. Now, I know that Nate Tibbetts and the Phoenix side is going to have an adjustment to that. Going to be fun to watch how that plays out in game two. The Lynx forced the Mercury into 3-point shots because of that defensive scheme, but they finished 3 of 23. I'm not letting Alyssa Thomas skewer me and put me on a rotisserie in the mid-range with all her passing and all her crafty scoring. No, I'm going to put a blanket on her, pass it out. Let Wickham hit threes. Let all these other ladies hit threes. So the game was tied 59-59 heading into the fourth. The Lynx outscored them 14-2 over the last minutes of the game to get the 13-point victory. A little closer than I thought it was going to be, I would say that. The game ball goes to Courtney Williams of the Minnesota Lynx, having, to me, her finest season in the WNBA. She was an all-star, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, making her the 5th player with 25-5 and 5 steals in a postseason game. It's Breanna Stewart, goated, Alyssa Thomas, goated, Tamika Catchings, goated, Cheryl Swoops, goated. Okay? Courtney Williams is not goated, but she's hanging with goats with that stat right there. I don't mean to disparage her. I mean, come on, Courtney Williams is not at the level of these other ladies. If you don't know that, keep watching the Sports Ethos WNBA today with Rick Kamla, and you will learn and you will know. Kayla McBride had 21. Napheesa Collier was kind of quiet, kind of mellow, 18 points and 9 rebounds. And Collier finished second in MVP voting to Asia Wilson earlier that day. got the win. I can't imagine that Fee is real happy about that. This was her MVP award. And again, I'll get to tons of thoughts on the MVP award in a little bit. Collier Copper had 22 for Phoenix. Alyssa Thomas did have a good overall game, 18, 8, and 7. And Setu Sabali had just 10 points. And she's their leading scorer at 16.3. That was a problem. Also, it's a problem that Sabali and not Copper is their leading scorer. Collier Copper had a weird year, man. Had a weird year. Man, fantasy WNBA. Collier Copper and Caitlin Clark did your boy no favors. Also, Arike Ogunbowale. That didn't go well. Game 2 is tonight in Minneapolis before they head to Phoenix for Game 3 on Friday. My pick is, drum roll please, no drum roll necessary, it's Minnesota. I'm not sure Phoenix is going to win a game in this series. I'm not. Love what you're doing out there, Phoenix. You surprised the heck out of me. I think Nate Tibbetts should have gotten more love for Coach of the Year. He didn't. Everybody's acting like Phoenix was supposed to be good. Oh, Phoenix, no, they weren't. They lost Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. And they added Alyssa Thomas. Okay, great. You added Alyssa Thomas. You look at the rest of the roster, you got Thomas, you got Copper, you got Sabali. I mean, it's a pretty good 3, but outside of that, it was kind of weird. I didn't really see it, but they did it. And here they are, second round. Huge game tonight, huge opportunity for them, but I'm not sure they're going to win a game in this series. Guys, this is the Lynx at home. Nobody wins there, okay? Phoenix, and by the way, Minnesota learned a lesson. They were too cool in the first half, too kind of casual in the first half, and then they got their you-know-what together, and the defense they played was suffocating, and Phoenix couldn't overcome it. And obviously the late run by Minnesota. Why? Because they're so motivated, they're at home, they're so organized, and they've just got their bleep together. So now tonight the Lynx are going to be better from the start of the game, and I really kind of think tonight's going to be 2 blowouts. I do. I see Vegas blowing out Indiana. I mean, maybe it's a 15-point, right? Like, to me, that's kind of blowouty. And Vegas may beat like Indiana, but I'm not saying it's going to be like a 27-point blowout. It's not what I'm saying. I just think it's going to be a comfortable victory for both Vegas and Minnesota tonight. So that's how I see it. Bet accordingly or not. And if you do, go to FanDuel.com. Also, go to our app. It's amazing. The Sports Ethos app is completely free. We've got continuous blurbs on the NBA, MLB, and NFL. It's going to help you win leagues. It's a great, great tool. It's on your phone, right there in your hand. Bing, 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 bing. You're making your lineup adjustments in your fantasy leagues. Go to that. It's a tremendous tool. And again, it's completely free. Number 3, in my big 3 from the previous week in the WNBA, Jackie Young's, I'm going back here a little ways, okay? This is a weekly wrap-up show. So I'm going back to Game 3 where Vegas hung on against Seattle to win that game. Jackie Young had a putback off a missed jumper, and they were down 1 at the time. Just a gigantic play by Jackie Young. Saved the season, okay? And it got Vegas past Seattle because then they came back and they had to survive a shot, a pretty decent look mid-range. I thought it was going in when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's too good of a look, and it didn't go. And Vegas prevailed. Jackie Young was sensational in that series. She went 19, 4, and 4, 3 steals per game, shot 52 field, 43 3, 92 at the free throw line. 19, 4, and 4, and a 50, 40, 90. And the game-winning putback. Crazy stuff, man. Jackie Young, we shout you out. To me, it was a career year for Jackie Young. She's done similar statistical stuff, but I don't know. Without Kelsey Plum, I felt Jackie Young more, and she's a terrific two-way player. She had the second most points of her career, 16.5. Highest rebound count at 4.5. Second highest assist count at 5.1. Second highest steal at 1.3. Tied her career high in blocks at 0.4. Free throws were a career high at 894. And games played, she played all 44. Jackie Young, we love you. Jackie Young might be the most underrated player in the game. Pardon me. She might be the most underrated player in the game. And I would put Alicia Gray and Kelsey Mitchell on that list, but they were very well voted for MVP. So they're kind of invited to this party, kind of not. Like Jackie Young, and I'm not saying Jackie Young should have been in the MVP conversation. I'm not saying that, but I just feel like she's underrated and needs some love, and I just gave it to her. Our draft guide is up at sportsethos.com, by the way, our fantasy basketball draft guide. Please check it out. Aaron Brewski is our patriarch and the brilliant mastermind behind the heartbeat of our fantasy basketball coverage at Sports Ethos. And his projections are in, okay? And his B150 is going to be out here in a week. So the Brewski 150 is a big, big deal. It's going to help you win roto leagues and head-to-head leagues and monetize and make a bunch of money. And we've got all kinds of other cool products over there. We cover fantasy football. We cover fantasy baseball and on and on and on. So go to sportsethos.com and pull out your little credit card, spend a little money. It's not much. And we will create big bang for the buck for you. And we will help you win that money back, whether it's DFS, head-to-head, cash leagues, just straight betting, whatever. We got you. It's sportsethos.com. Bottom three from the previous week in the WNBA. Napheesa Collier did not win the MVP award. Before I get into this, I'm not butthurt about this. I'm not butthurt. I've been butthurt about stuff. I'm not butthurt about this. I'm disappointed. I'm just disappointed. I just thought it was Fee's year. Fee hasn't won an MVP yet. It's a huge deal, especially for a non-MVP to win MVP. It's transcending. And it's also huge for a person like A'ja Wilson, who had 3 and now has 4, and now she has the most in the history of the league. That's pretty cool too, okay? And look, I'm going to give A'ja Wilson her flowers in a little standalone segment we call the cameo of the week. And that's coming up in just a little bit. She deserves it. I'm not mad at her at all. I freaking love A'ja Wilson. She's a tiger out there. She's unbelievable. She's the best player in the sport. She's tracking towards being the GOAT. The GOAT, not a GOAT, the GOAT. And again, tracking towards it. Please listen to those words. Please, because she's not the GOAT right now. Okay, more on A'ja in a little bit. But I love A'ja. This isn't about her. I'm just disappointed Fee didn't win. That's all it is. Just disappointed. The voting was extremely close. A'ja was at 657 in voting points. Fee was at 534. Alyssa Thomas was at 391. Then Alicia Gray was at 180, and Kelsey Mitchell was at 93. How about Gray and Mitchell? Both in the top 5. Pretty cool. I give the voters a lot of credit for that. And I guess I don't know who else you would have gone for there. I mean, Gray was pretty obvious with what Atlanta did this year. The playoffs matter, but they don't for this. This is regular season MVP, right? So this is how I had it stacked. AT at 3, Gray at 4, Mitchell at 5. But I had Fee at 1 and A'ja at 2. Minnesota beat Las Vegas by 4 games in the regular season. Vegas was the 2 seed, Minnesota the 1. 4-game separation. That's significant. It's not like what OKC did last year or what Cleveland did to the East last year. Pardon me. No, Cleveland had Boston. I'm forgetting Boston last year. So I'll just focus on OKC, how they just trucked the West. Winning the league was never in doubt for Minnesota. But I believe that Minnesota's dominance, people fell asleep on that. They took it for granted. They didn't forget about it. They just minimized it because it had been a thing all year. Minnesota cranked the league all year long. It was never in doubt. They always had a big lead, always had the league at arm's length. So I think there was a little comatose fatigue with that. Yeah, they won the league. Of course they won. No, don't poo-poo this, okay? But I think the voters did poo-poo that. The dominance of Minnesota was trumped by the 16-game winning streak to end the season. If Vegas finishes the season 14-2 in their last 16 games, A'ja does not win this MVP award. They did a spectacular, unbelievable thing, winning 16 straight games. Next year, they will have a chance to break the regular season win streak record. But that's next year. I believe too much weight was put into the winning streak. Okay. It's a 16-game winning streak. It's a big deal. It's not the greatest of all time, at least not yet. And they weren't better record-wise than Minnesota. They weren't. So so recency bias is a dangerous thing. Recency bias is it's right under my nose right now, and I'm going with it. It's what I just saw. It's what I just experienced. And so you forget about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That matters just as much. But recency bias puts more weight on recent events versus previous events. I don't like recency bias. Recency bias needs to be eliminated as much as possible by us sports media people. All right. I'm not saying we shouldn't live in the moment, honor great shots and great performances. We should. But you can't, like, if Luka goes out, here's an example. Let's say next year, first week of the season, Luka Doncic has a 50-point triple-double, right? He goes 55, 11, and 10. Okay. Oh, that's the greatest game of Luka's career. No, it's not. He had a 70-point game against the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know, 2-3 years ago, whenever that was. Recency bias, right? What you just saw from Luka in a Laker uniform, cover of Men's Health. We're all talking a little bit. We're all psyched about Luka. Okay. It's like some dumbass talking head on like First Take might say that this is the best game in his career. No, it's not. That's recency bias. Okay. You're forgetting about the 70 piece he had. And by the way, the total, I did a study on this. The best stat line, just one stat line in one game in NBA history. And Luka's 70-point game, I forget right now, guys. It was third or fifth or sixth or something like that. It's and I'm talking about Elgin Baylor, Will Chamberlain, like all these guys. Michael Jordan's best games, Bird, Magic's, all their best games, right? Okay. And Luka's 70-point game was like right up there with all the best of all time. I'm telling you. Okay. So if you're going to say a 50-point triple-double by Luka is his best game, that's recency bias. And I feel like the 16-game winning streak versus what Minnesota did, body of work style, is recency bias. I don't like it. It irks me. Again, I'm not butthurt. These are sort of nuanced complaints that I've got here. I haven't screamed yet. There hasn't been an excessive amount of hot sauce yet. I mean, it's A'ja Wilson. If Alyssa Thomas, and I love you, AT, I love you. If Alyssa Thomas had somehow beaten Fee for MVP, I'd be butthurt. Okay? But it's A'ja Wilson, dude. It's like the year, 2 years ago, I voted for SGA, right? Obviously, last year, he was the guy we all voted for. Well, not all of us. There were still a lot of Jokic people. The year before, I thought SGA was the MVP that year as well. Obviously, much closer. But Jokic won that year, right? I wasn't mad. Like, it was a coin flip. I thought SGA deserved MVP that year. The voters thought differently, and they voted for Jokic. And I went with I'm not mad at Jokic winning MVP. Be a stupid take, right? All right, so let me read you the stats between Fee and A'ja. All right, games played. It's in favor of A'ja here. 40 for A'ja, 33 for Collier. Remember, she had the injury towards the end of the year. I also think that hurt her MVP case. I really do. So Fee was at 22.9 points. A'ja at 23.4. Okay, half a point per game higher for A'ja Wilson. Won the scoring title again. A'ja was about 3 rebounds higher than Napheesa Collier, 10.2 to 7.3. Fee got her an assist, but it was close, 3.2 to 3.1. A'ja got her in blocks, 2.3 to 1.5. The steals were the exact same, 1.6 for Collier, 1.6 for Wilson. Fee went 50, 40, 90. Did you guys know that? Big deal. Big deal. She went 53 from the field, 40 from 3, 90 from the free throw line. And A'ja gave it a run too. She went 50, 42, 85. All right. So the stats are in favor of A'ja. I mean, I give you that. The stats are stats. I can't lie. I can't maneuver. I can't manipulate that. Stats are stats. And I will give that to A'ja. Okay. So my thing was Fee had the record, sort of the reality advantage, and A'ja had the fantasy advantage. All right. But to me, the voters were looking at it 16-game winning streak, even though you weren't first, that's going to trump what Minnesota did. Again, I don't like the thinking there. We talked about that. But I'm not mad at any voter saying, yo, A'ja had a better stat line than Napheesa Collier, and she played more games, and so I'm going with her. And if that was your rationale, I mean, I can't say anything to that other than you're right. Knock yourself out. But if you were like, oh, the 16-game winning streak, and you're overrating it, okay, a little bit. It is an epic streak. It is. I got to give you that. But Minnesota had an epic regular season as well. We must admit that too, right? So, in sum, record to me goes to Fee, stats go to A'ja, and it's a coin flip. My coin landed on Fee. Your all's coin landed on A'ja. Cool. I'm just disappointed. I also feel like the voters defaulted a little bit to A'ja. All right, it's a coin flip. And the voters are like, oh, my God, oh, my God. Oh, this is such a difficult decision. I need a compass. I need a sign. I need a sign from above to help me out with my voting on MVP. All right, screw it. Let's go with A'ja. She's already won 3 of the last 5. Let's give it to her again. I'm not saying they're giving her anything. Don't get me wrong. But, I don't know. She's won 4 of the last 6. So I'm just saying, back in the day, Peyton Manning, I thought, got gifted a couple of MVPs. There were a couple other guys and different positions. Just give it to Peyton. It's like a default MVP. They're used to voting that way. Jokic. People love voting for Jokic. People love voting for Giannis. I mean, are we just going to rename the MVP award the A'ja Award? She's won 4 of the last 6. Are we just going to, is she going to win it every year? Like Ohtani and Judge in baseball? Judge got some competition this year. That dude, Cal Raleigh, the catcher for Seattle, is having an epic year. I don't know. I think I've said enough. But if Fee can't win MVP this year, it's going to be tough, yo. It's going to be tough. And I mean, A'ja got the scoring title too. What? Wow. A'ja is doing some chain snatching right now. Give me that MVP. Give me that scoring title. What if A'ja goes, give me that WNBA title? Think about this, guys. The Liberty are done. They're dead. They're at home. There's no Liberty. The defending champs are out. Okay? This is Minnesota's ring. Or is it? Right? I don't think Phoenix and Indiana. Nice stories. Love the whole thing. Love the grit. Like, they're overachieving to be where they are. Like, it's all really, really cool stuff. Okay? They're not at the level of Minnesota or Vegas. They're just not. So we're probably going to get this collision course that we want so badly, Minnesota and Vegas. At least I do. Fee, A'ja. I mean, so you get Fee a chance to get back at the MVP. I mean, come on. So is Wilson going to chain snatch Fee again in the finals? And is Fee going to lose 2 straight finals and have that heartbreaking disappointment? I mean, these are fun storylines, right? And then, obviously, if that happens to Fee in Minnesota, on the other side, Vegas would get their 3rd, which means A'ja is a dynastic player, okay? That takes her even higher on the ladder than she is right now. She'd go from 2 chips to 3 chips. She would add, presumably, a finals MVP, another one. I mean, right? I mean, this is really, really cool historical stuff. We are at a crossroads of WNBA greatness and perhaps GOATness. Some are already calling A'ja Wilson the GOAT. And I do want to address that super quick. She can't be the GOAT yet. She can't be, okay? Because to me, for the women's game, you've got to combine the college and the pro. You do. For the men's game, you don't, because there's a lot of guys that didn't go to college, a lot of one and dones. The ladies got to go to school and stay there, okay? Kind of like college football, right? I think it's 3 years, 2 years, something like that. So, and obviously the legacies that these ladies left in college, you know, Taurasi with the chips, Bird with the chips, Stewie with the chips, Candace Parker with the chips. Like, to me, you got to include that. Maybe you guys don't. Maybe when I do this, I do all time, like college and pro, and I just do WNBA. I don't know how I'm going to segment that. A'ja Wilson probably right now is on the Mount Rushmore. Okay. But to call her the GOAT, I feel like it's too early, man. She is tracking towards being the GOAT. That is the right way to say this, okay? Right now, is she the GOAT? If so, that's your opinion. It is not factually supported. It is not. It may eventually be factually supported, but right now it's not factually supported. Doesn't have enough rings, doesn't have enough counting numbers, all that kind of stuff. All right. Number 2 in my bottom 3 from the previous week in the WNBA. Noelle Quinn, the head coach of the Seattle Storm, is out. Okay, they announced this on Sunday. I speculated about this during the season that they were underachieving. They got way too much talent to be like a middling 500 team. You're on the playoff bubble. What are we doing here? Come on. And then they lose to Vegas 2-1. We talked about the thrilling ending where Jackie Young hit the putback. That's why Quinn got fired. Think about this. If that shot doesn't go in for Jackie Young, or if another Seattle player gets that rebound and then Vegas fouls, maybe they make 2 free throws, they're up 3, and then maybe Vegas ties with a 3, but obviously a long shot at that point. So if all that happens, Quinn right now is in the conference finals, still coaching, and might have saved her job. But and then that last second shot didn't go down, I believe it was Erica Wheeler, you get fired. That's sports, man. That's coaching. It's what it is. She's 40 years old. She played in the WNBA from 2007 to 2018, 2 stints with the Storm. She concluded her playing career with a WNBA championship with Seattle in 2018 and became an assistant to Dan Hughes in 2019. And then he had a health issue, and so she pretty much quickly ascended to be a coach. She will get another job, I believe. I don't know when or where, but she is established. She's had some success, kind of a WNBA lifer. I think she'll get another job. She was the only Black female head coach in the WNBA. So now that's kind of weird, right? There's no Black female head coaches in the WNBA right now. Might want to look into fixing that. Just saying. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Think about the demographic of the league, and that's the case. Kind of weird. Just saying. She had a 97-89 record in the regular season, a 4-8 mark in the playoffs. And the Storm lost in the second round in 2021, semifinals in 2022, didn't make the playoffs in 2023. And the first round, the past 2 years, they've gone out. So the last 3 years, you really don't have anything to show for it. All right. So the team's like kind of over it, and they had to let her go. And I wish her well. I do think this is the right move. She's been there 5 years. The program's not going anywhere. It's not. And you've got talent. It's time for a change. It is. So that's what's up. And also there was just reading the ESPN article there. This was kind of interesting. I was wondering about the Jewel Lloyd trade, right? Why would you trade this franchise pillar to Vegas of all places? Well, Quinn and her staff there were issues, interpersonal issues with Jewel Lloyd, and it led to Lloyd's departure. Lloyd alleged harassment and bullying by the Storm coaching staff. The Storm organization investigated, and they didn't find any violations. The Storm then traded Lloyd at her request to Vegas. So that's anytime Seattle and Vegas play now, it's blood. And maybe, it probably will continue to be because Lloyd is a feisty gal, and it's her former team. But now that Noelle Quinn is no longer there and that coaching staff's been blown out, maybe it takes a little bit of the steam out of that. We shall see. Number 3. In my bottom 3 from the previous week in the WNBA, here on the Sports Ethos WNBA Today with Rick Kamla. The Dallas Wings are not firing Coach Koklanis, a.k.a. Coach Clueless. They are not firing him. According to reports, they still could. They still have that option, and they still can't. Doesn't look like they are. According to reports, he is safe. Despite a challenging season with the worst record in the WNBA, and fan frustration, and Rick Kamla frustration on his WNBA pod, the Wings are expected to keep him as their coach. Here's the rationale. Partly because firing coaches in successive seasons is generally avoided, and it's a bad look for your franchise. That's all true, but that should not prevail over the dumbassery that is your hiring and the continuing to employ Coach clueless. Also, the team wants to provide continuity for a young roster to develop. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. If it's broke, you fix it. It's broke. Fix it. Dude, Nakase out in Golden State. Coach Nakase. We're going to talk about her. She won the award. She's the head coach of an expansion team that should have had the record that Dallas had. And Dallas should have had the record that GSV had. That's coaching. Okay? If she did what she did with that team, barren of talent. I don't know how Nakase did it. I don't. She performed magic, bro. She went poof, and wins came out of the dust. Okay? Koklanis, he doesn't know what he's doing. Bro, you got Paige Beckers, you got Arike Ogunbowale, you got Segrist, you got Biggs down there. Hines Allen had a nice year. You had Tara McCown and ruined her with your dumbass rotation. Dallas had way more talent than Vegas, especially after Kayla Thornton went down with the injury. Way more talent. And Nakase's doing this up here. They were plus 500, and Dallas had the worst record in the league. Dude, you're dumb down there in Dallas. Dumb. Not all of you. Not all you Texans. The people that run the Dallas Wings are dumb. First of all, you're dumb for hiring this guy. I can't. I feel bad for Paige Beckers. I promise you right now, continuity, have a conversation with Paige Beckers. Bring her in. Yo, Paige, you feeling Koklanis? Like, she's young, seems like a really nice person. And maybe she just like is a tiger and is like, F that guy. But maybe she's kind of like a little passive aggressive, like, but that means she wants him out, right? It's either, I love that guy. He's great. He's helping me with development and like, we're getting along. I love his X's and O's. I love the play designs, all this kind of stuff. If she really believes that, Paige, knock yourself out with this guy. I can't with this guy. Okay. I got to believe that Paige and Arike, especially Arike, the dude ruined Arike Ogunbowale. Ruined her. She went from a top 5 player in the world to God knows what. Wasn't even an all-star this year. And then didn't even finish the year. I don't know where we're going with Arike Ogunbowale. I know where we're going. Trade her to Chicago. But you dumbasses won't. And those dumbasses up in Chicago aren't going to make any moves probably to help Angel out. All right. So it is what it is. And the complaints will continue here on the Sports Ethos WNBA today with your boy, Rick Kamla. Guys, if you want to support us, it's super easy to do. The best way is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And we would love a written review as well, if you don't mind. Hey, my boy Cam rocks on this WNBA pod. That stuff kills it for us, man. All right, Cameo of the week. Who the F else? It's A'ja Wilson, okay? Unprecedented 4th MVP. 4 out of the last 6. That's insane. Absolutely insane. So Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Lauren Jackson all have 3 MVP awards. So A'ja now is in a class by herself with that. And think about this. She's not 30 yet. Asia's not 30 yet. Asia's going to win, I would estimate, 2 more of these. Pardon me. I had 3 in my brain and 2 came out of my mouth. That was weird. I estimate 3 more MVPs for A'ja Wilson. That would put her at 7. And if she's at 7 MVPs, she's probably going to get at least another ring too. She will have the A'ja dynasty, right? You got to get 3 to have the dynasty. Asia's going to be dynastic. Her counting stats are going to be incredible. She got all these records. She's going to have like doubled up or more than doubled up the next closest MVP winner. That's the GOAT stuff, okay? That's why I say she's tracking towards being the GOAT. But she has not won 3 more MVPs yet. She has not won her 3rd championship yet. If A'ja wins the championship this year, wins her 3rd, becomes dynastic, okay? I will do an evaluation on it and see, is she the GOAT right now? But she's got to do that. She's got to at least do that Okay. Because if Minnesota wins this year and Asia is at 2 championships, 4 MVPs, I know the resume. I know the other resumes. I'm not ready to do that evaluation yet. I'm ready to determine whether she's Mount Rushmore or not whether she's the GOAT or not. If she gets to ring number 3, I will make that assessment. Okay. That is my vow to you, our great audience here on the Sports Ethos WNBA today with Rick Kamla. She's on track to be the GOAT. She's tracking towards being the GOAT. Again, please remember the word tracking towards. Okay. Unless you're a Vegas Aces fan. And then I can understand you being all gassed up with love and fandom, and she's the GOAT. I'm not mad at you. She is your girl. I'm getting all pronouns screwed up here. And you love her and you'll die on that hill and all that. I get it. If you're Bam Adebayo, all right, if you're a part of the inner circle of A'ja Wilson, the personal friends and family, and you want to call her the GOAT, knock yourselves out. Not mad at you. Not mad at you. She's the gravy train. Seems like a fantastic person, by the way. And I'm happy for A'ja and her success, man. I see her in commercials all the time. That means millions, not hundreds of thousands, millions. Okay. Caitlin Clark sitting on the couch in that State Farm ad, she got millions for that. Okay. Don't get it twisted. That the sponsorship money is insane. It's insane. Good for them. I'm not mad at them at all. I'm happy for them. Shoot, they should have been getting that a long, long time ago, and they're getting theirs now, which is fantastic. Wilson and Cynthia Cooper, a GOAT, were the only ones to win the award unanimously. Cooper was the only player to win it in consecutive years. Back in 97 and 98, the first 2 seasons of the WNBA. And so now Wilson shares that with her. Wilson led the league in scoring again, 23.4, led the league in block shots, 2.3. It's just unbelievable. For the second consecutive season, she averaged at least 20 points, at least 10 rebounds, at least 2 assists, at least 2 blocks, and at least a steal. She is the only WNBA player to reach those averages in a season while playing at least 15 games. Again, one of those stats you're like, there's no effing way, bro. She's the only one to go 20, 10, and 2 with 2 blocks and a steal. Lisa Leslie never did that? Really? Okay. Right? Isn't that crazy? Lisa Leslie, the logo, never did that? A'ja, we're not worthy. Wayne's World style. Becky Hammon thinks she's the GOAT, and Becky Hammon's wrong, but I love Becky Hammon. I'm not mad at Becky Hammon. Like I said, if you're in that Aces thing, you want to call her the GOAT, knock yourselves out. Becky said the fact she's not even 30 yet is crazy. She still has a lot left in the tank. There's still areas she knows she can improve on, and she will. Every year she's coming back and adding something different to her game. Ant-Man, are you listening? Yo, Ant-Man, are you listening? Ant-Man just caught a stray, but I love Ant-Man. But you got to get a little bit more serious like that. Ant-Man, copy and paste. Every year she's coming back and adding something different to her game. Are you adding something different to your game, Ant-Man? We shall see very, very soon. Anyway, back to the WNBA and Becky Hammon's quote. She says, everyone talks about the Mount Rushmore of basketball faces. There's no Mount Rushmore. You're the only one. You're Everest. Okay, so Becky thinks she's the GOAT. Again, not mad at you. I'm just not there yet, Becky. She is tracking towards being the GOAT. I'm not reluctant at all to call A'ja Wilson the GOAT when the time is right to call her the GOAT. This is just one of my specialties in sports media is evaluating GOATness and historical records and Hall of Fame. It's just, I love it. I'm good at it. I was a history major in college, and it's just one of my things, dude. And so, for example, LeBron James. LeBron James has 4 rings. Jordan has 6. Kareem has 6. How could LeBron be the GOAT? How? LeBron has better numbers than those guys, okay? But they have sensational numbers too. So Bron's got to get to 5, okay? And I put this out going back several years, even before the bubble chip. And so then he got the bubble chip and he got to 4, right? Okay, this is a huge championship for LeBron. 1 more. And he's my GOAT. But you got to get 1 more. And I don't know if he's going to do that. Okay. And right now I've got Jordan at 1, Kareem at 2, LeBron at 3. How can you have Kareem above LeBron? Because it's the right thing to do. Kareem has 6 rings. Bron has 4. Bron has 4 MVPs. Kareem has 6. Okay? I gotta double check that stat. I'm pretty sure it's 6. I'm confusing because I think Jordan has 5 MVPs. So Jordan's 1 above. But people, I'm ready to say this right now. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 MVPs, 6 titles. 6! Okay? How can LeBron be more goated than Kareem when he's at 8 combined chips and MVPs and Kareem's at 12? That's a 4-piece separation. Come on. So I'm big on this stuff, right? And so with Asia, I can't wait to do this, and I love tracking this history. I love tracking, Pat Mahomes trying to catch Tom Brady as the GOAT of NFL quarterbacking. I love all this stuff, man. I get geeked up about it, dude. I really, really do. So anyway, I gotta take a little shot here, and it's sarcastic, but there's truth in all sarcasm. I do like this man. Okay. I bleep with him, as they say. And I don't know if he'd say that about me, but I think he might say that about me. I don't really care. I got to shoot my shot here. But I used to do NBA radio on Sirius XM. Stephen A. Smith used to call our show, me and Antonio Daniels. We chop it up. So there's some friendliness there. SAS, if you're watching this, thank you. But SAS called Asia Wilson the best player in the WNBA. And it's not even really a Stephen A thing. It's more like an ESPN.com thing. Like it was like a big little pull apart, like hot take thing where they were like amplifying it and highlighting it. And here's what it says: Stephen A. : Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. I mean, if that's the hot take of the day, bro, you gotta turn it off. That's all. I mean, and I'm sure he said a bunch of other stuff. I'm mocking ESPN.com. Asia Wilson's the best player in the WNBA. Duh. How is that a headline? Bro, everybody on earth knows that. And there's no debate. None. There's no debate shows who's the best player in the WNBA. There's no debate. Napheesa Collier is awesome. And she is not at Asia's level. Asia is head and shoulders above the rest of the league. There's no one even in her. Dude, think it. You got Napheesa Collier, you got Alyssa Thomas, you got Alyssa Gray, you got Kelsey Mitchell, you got Caitlin Clark. Obviously, I'm just bringing Caitlin in because she is a fantastic player. Paige Beckers and Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart and Kelsey Plum, they are not even close to Asia Wilson right now. Even Stewie. None of them are. Not even close. And Sab and Plum, these are all future Hall of Famers I'm talking about here. They're not even close to Asia Wilson right now. So, SAS, I'm mad at you, bro. You're doing your thing. I know it's hard to watch this dub. bro. You got to watch the NFL. You got NBA stuff. I get it, bro. I get it. I hope you're watching a little bit of the dub, SAS. But for your guys at ESPN, I mean, if I were SAS, I'd be like, why'd you put that out there? Like, you couldn't find something better that I said on First Take to put out there. You put out that Asia Wilson's the best player in the WNBA. That's the best we got because she just won MVP and we got to put something out about Asia. What a joke. What an absolute joke. I mean, what an absolute joke. Give me a break. And so I'm going to go to NFL.com next. And there's going to be a headline where I'm trying to think of one of their guys. I'll go with my guy Mike Yam. Okay, he's one of their on-air hosts. Mike Yam: Jerry Rice is the best wide receiver in NFL history. Again, it's one of those undebatable things. It's so non-debatable. Jerry Rice's numbers and accomplishments, he's in a completely different stratosphere from everybody else. He is. And then you drop down and it's the rest of the wide receivers. It's like that. It'd be like that. I'm going to go to NFL.com and see my guy Mike Yam. And Mike, I'm just having fun with you here. Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver of all time. Duh. ESPN, do better. Ticking me off out here. Wow, I just did a rant and now I've got another rant. What is this one right here? Oh, yeah. This Caitlin Clark stuff. I complained a little while back about all these headlines. Caitlin Clark will not play in tonight's game. When I told you like 2 weeks previous, she done. They're shutting her down, which they eventually did. But there was this headline. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark was fined $200. $200. I just got a ticket. It was one of those photo enforced. Yeah, it's a bunch of bull crap, dude. It's a money grab. It's taxation. Okay. I made some kind of, I don't even know what I did because I don't drive illegally. I don't like run yellow lights. I drive like a grandpa because I don't want to get a ticket, right? Photo enforced ticket come through, about $160, right? You just pay it. What am I going to go to City Hall and fight? Here's your damn money, right? So Caitlin Clark was fined $40 more than that. Rick Kamla got a speeding ticket. Why wasn't that a headline on ESPN.com? Huh? Why wasn't that out there? I have followers. I've been around a minute. I invented fantasy basketball. Why isn't there a headline for me, homie? Why not? It's $160. I mean, a $200 fine. Are you serious, bro? We are so desperate to get Caitlin Clark's name on our bottom line that we're going to make a headline out of her. She's not even playing. Hasn't played it forever. And we're making a headline out of her getting fined $200. Are you serious right now? Bro, there's so much good stuff going on in the WNBA right now. And you are using this as a headline for comments that she made on social media when she criticized the officiating during a team's recent playoff series win over the Atlanta Dream. Are you out of your minds? ESPN.com, you're losing me, bro. The Stephen A. Smith thing. Oh, my God, A'ja Wilson's the best player in the WNBA. No way. You've got to be kidding me. And a $200 fine to Caitlin Clark literally makes one of the top headlines on the WNBA page on ESPN.com. You need to do so much better. You're ticking me off out here. And that's it. That's the end of our show, man. Actually, it's not. I got to give some shout outs here really quickly to the award winners. All right, let's reel it in here. No more ranting. Coach of the Year, Natalie Nakase, gets the Coach of the Year award, okay? She got 53 of 72 votes from a national panel of sports writers and all that kind of stuff. Valkyries go 23 and 21, okay? And I want to read you some stats on her, defensive stats. The Valkyries held opponents to league lows, 76.3 points per game and 40.5% shooting, okay? Also, they made a WNBA high 9.73 balls per game. Okay. What this speaks to is system. System implemented by Nakase. Year one of the franchise. All new players. Okay. She performed magic. Nate Tibbetts was my choice because I didn't see Phoenix doing much this year, and obviously they were very high in the standings. I am completely okay with Nakase winning this. I'm more than okay with it. Nate Tibbetts, by the way, like y'all hate him or something. He got like no votes. Atlanta coach Carl Smesko was in second place, then Becky Hammon, then Cheryl Reeve. Are you kidding me? How are Hammon and Reeve even getting votes? Like, to me, and I love both of them. Okay, how is Tibbetts not getting more votes than them? To me, Coach of the Year should come down to exceeding expectations, doing more with less, performing magic. That's the application that I use here. Cheryl Reeve performed no magic this year, okay? She got an unbelievable team. They had an unbelievable season. It's all chalky stuff. Becky Hammon, their team was in the dumpster. They salvaged it with a 16-game winning streak. So that trumps Nate Tibbetts' full body of work? Again, no, it doesn't. Okay, rant over. But shout out to Natalie Nakase, the fabulous head coach of the GSV Valkyries and winning Coach of the Year. Shout out to the Defensive Player of the Year award winners, Alana Smith and A'ja Wilson, co-Defensive Players of the Year. And I guess the voting just stacked up that way. First time in league history that this award has been shared by multiple players. Good for both of them. Another DPOY for A'ja. I mean, the accolades for A'ja just keep stacking up, dude. I mean, she's like they're like falling out of her arms, all the trophies and all that. And then I did nail this one, the sixth lady of the year, the sixth player of the year, as they call it, Naz Hillman of the Atlanta Dream. She was absolutely fabulous. Natisha Heidman was second. And another Lynx player, Jessica Shepard, was, let me see here. Heidman and Shepard finished second and third. Okay. And then Dominique Malonga and Sammy Wickham each received 1 vote. So that's pretty chalky for me. I saw on Twitter some were thinking that Heidman got snubbed. I love Natisha Heidman. She's been a baller all year. She didn't get snubbed. She didn't have the impact on the Lynx that Hillman had on the Atlanta Dream. Remember, guys, Brittany Griner washed. Okay, Brittany Griner is no longer Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner's hanging on by a thread at the end of her career. And like we've talked about, I don't want her to do it. I'm not recommending that she do it, but I am expecting her to retire. Okay. Again, I don't want her to do it. I'm not telling her she has to do it, but it's my expectation that she's going to retire because this year wasn't it. But shout out to Naz Hillman, Alana Smith, Asia Wilson, and Natalie Nakase for winning those awards. Now we are done with the Sports Ethos WNBA today with your boy, Rick Kamla. Big shout out to my boy, Andre Lemouche, best producer in the biz. And I love you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all watching this and retweet it on your timelines. Let everybody know your boy Cam is chirping about the W at the highest possible level, way higher than that ESPN level with that dumbass headline. But we love y'all. We'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Eastern time, recapping the playoffs, looking ahead to the WNBA finals, and having a good old time. I'm your boy Cam, and I'll see you soon. Peace.